I'd like to call the regular meeting of November 20th to order. Call the roll, please.
President Gutierrez.
Here.
Trustee Bernine.
Here.
Trustee Hickey.
Here.
Trustee McClendon.
Here.
Trustee Polito.
Here.
Trustee Slee.
Here.
Trustee Scott.
Here.
Manager Yule.
Here.
All stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next we have the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I would like to make a motion to approve with the addition of under new business. Oh,
This is just our little short minutes.
I move we approve the agenda as printed.
Is there a support?
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of November 6th. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of November 6th.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I was going to let them talk.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so Denny, would you like to say anything before we adjourn?
I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. It's been a blast serving the city, and I'm sad to go. And thank you all, especially those of you who voted for me, to take this position. Thank you.
Paul?
I also want to thank the community and especially the board since I was appointed, not elected. I appreciate that you guys thought enough of me to let me take on this role. I really appreciated it, and I learned a lot, and hopefully I helped. Mostly I have to thank Penny because she, as my mother-in-law, it might have been a political liability for her to be a person to vote for her son-in-law to be on the village council, but hopefully I was able to help her, and I just, you know, I could say great things about each and every one of you, but I especially want to say to our outgoing village president that you represent this village very well, and I appreciate everything you've done. That's all I got.
Mike?
Well, I've served on village government now since 2006. I was chair of the zoning board of appeals, and I went straight into being a council member in 2013 after Dennis died at the request of Diana, his wife. And somehow, someone talked me into running again, and I got elected for my second term. So this makes a 12-year run that I have really enjoyed. I've learned a lot about the village and about laws in general. And I've made new friends, and probably a couple enemies, but I want to thank you all for your support over the years. I really appreciate it. I am going to volunteer still with the police department like I did before I became a council member. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and I just want to thank the residents of the village for allowing me to serve you. First as a trustee and then as your village president for the last 4 years. I want to thank those of you that have contacted me with questions, concerns, suggestions, complaints, whatever, to improve our community. I want to thank those of you that attend the meetings. I want to thank the outstanding village police department and all of the employees who work tirelessly to make Dundee, Dundee, and the council team, which I was honored to serve with the past 4 years. We made a lot of uncomfortable, sometimes unpopular decisions. We agreed to disagree at times, probably Mike and I more than anyone else. But in the end, we respected each other and we came together on a united front. And we did what we thought was the best. I'm proud of a lot of things that we accomplished. We got the dam lit finally. We closed Ypsilanti Street, although that was very controversial. And we finally got that unsightly building on the corner torn down. I encourage the next council to continue making those hard decisions in the best interest of this awesome community. And as a lifetime resident, I encourage you to always, always do the right thing. Yes, even come rain or shine. Thank you. We're gonna swing it one last time.
You know that's all.
Did you guys want to say anything? You're coming up again.
I want to thank everybody for your service on the council. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. And I think we've accomplished a lot of good things for the village. So again, thank you very much. We did some digging today, and if I'm wrong, Penny, please interrupt me and correct me, but we had to go back in the records and call Robin, who's been here forever, and the paperwork started getting crumbly and yellow, and it was hard to read. So if I'm correct in how many years, Penny, you served here, you let me know.
Did you have to say it was yellow and crumpled?
Well, you know. What we dug out is a pretty good dedication to the village of Dundee from Penny. April, I believe, started April of 1978 to 1990, served as trustee for the village, and then a 2-year stint as president from 1990 to 1992. And then from 2014 to present, from trustee to village president. So that is a total of 18 years of service to the village of Dundee. And we just in the office here and the council wanted to present you with a certificate of appreciation. So, Tim, you can come up.
Make me cry.
Come on up, Penny. For 18 years of dedicated, loyal work for the village of Dundee.
Just one more time because you're nice.
Thank you very much. Well, that was a surprise. Okay, and with that, the meeting's adjourned.
Ms. Harkey, Mr. Reed, Mr. Shorter, will you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the ordinances and charters of the Village of Dundee,
the ordinances and charters of the Village of Dundee,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
of Village of Dundee trustee
of Village of Dundee trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Or you're good? Done for a hold it for you? Okay.
Support any?
Hang on, guys.
Okay.
Up there. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. Support any, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Timothy Bordine,
I, Tim Bordine,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan
and the ordinances and charter of the Village of Dundee,
and the ordinances and charter of the Village of Dundee,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of office
the duties of office
of Village of Dundee President
of the Village of Dundee President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
If you guys can all get in front of the backdrop there, and then Tanya will get a picture of everybody. Judge, go over.
One more time, we're happy to see you.
Jordan, you're on your own. Got the judge next to me.
Okay, I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
President Burdine,
Here.
Trustee Hickey,
Here.
Trustee McClendon,
Here.
Trustee Reeves,
Here.
Trustee Harkey,
Here.
Trustee Shorter,
Present.
Manager Yule.
Here.
May everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, is there approval of the agenda?
I would like to make a motion to approve the agenda with adding to new business the open council member position.
I support. There's a motion on the floor, and it's been about the new council member, and it's been supported. Is there any discussion on this? I'd like to discuss this. In the past, we should have it put in the paper.
I think that's not germane to, we're just approving the agenda so that we can discuss it later. So what you're saying is not germane to the motion on the floor.
That's fine. Gotcha. So now just those in favor of this approval of the agenda? Ayes?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion's carried. Now we have petitions and communications. Is there anybody from the public that has any questions?
Oh, go ahead.
Good evening, new council, and I'd also like to thank the outgoing council for the help and support you gave the DDA. I'm here to represent the DDA. We had our meeting last night. I wanted to remind everybody that we have the dance coming in January, so that'll be at the old mill. The other thing is that there was a resolution made at the DDA last night that we support the ordinance as written about the marijuana, to be able to have control of that. If you don't do anything, from what we're understanding, by December 6th, that they can do whatever they want and they'll line up in the office and we won't have no control of it. And we really think it's important that our community somehow have some kind of control or know where it's going. And without doing this ordinance, that will stop that and allow you guys to create rules and places for that to be put. So that's the resolution from the DEA last night. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hi, Mike Salib. I'm part owner of the town's tobacco store. And so regarding the same ordinance, I want you to know that myself and my partners had a discussion, and we reached an agreement that we are not going to be selling any type of marijuana out of our, we're going to keep it cigar and pipe tobacco. So we have no objection whatsoever to that ordinance being approved as written. We want to keep the customer base of Dundee at a certain level. It's the same reason we don't have certain types of gentlemen's establishments and things like that here. That would be why we wouldn't be selling marijuana. So I just wanted you all to know that you're not going to hurt us any by passing that ordinance, and I actually recommend that we do pass it. Thank you.
So there
There's still.
Oh, okay. Could you please give your name, please?
My name is Lindsay King, and I apologize in advance. I'm going to keep this brief. Tim, I'm here to hold you accountable. I am here as a self-appointed representative of the people of the village that I love so much. Your campaign ran on two things that I found most notable: the destruction of someone's character with rumors and lies, and the famous line of the walking man. Boy, do I know that you're the walking man. I remember as a child being forced to walk with you miles behind Kroger down the unpaved path past the farmland. Moments that could have been spent bonding between us, and instead you chose to antagonize me and tease me. I was a child. I will thank you for that, though, because I have incredibly thick skin. And it's part of the reason that I can stand up here today. What is sad to me is that you're proud to call yourself the walking man because you have no realization of how your favorite activity damaged me for a lifetime. It created chunks of time in my memory that I prefer not to reflect upon. You were not a nice person then. And based on your current behavior, I don't believe that you're a nice person now. But thank God, being nice has nothing to do with politics. I believe that a village is not simply streets and buildings, nor is it shops, parks, roads, anything. It is the people that comprise it that make up the heart of a village. I've heard you say that you love this village, but I humbly ask you, do you love the people in it? Are you willing to listen to the majority, or are you interested only in moving the town in the direction that you would like to see it go? Leadership, true leadership, something that my mother taught me, is putting the wants and needs of the majority before the wants and needs of ourselves. Leadership is looking at the big picture to determine what is best for all involved. Looking outward rather than inward. Looking to put the majority's happiness ahead of our own. And that sometimes takes great sacrifice and care. So I ask if those are qualities that you embody, because your behavior over the last few months do not show leadership. I won't go any further tonight. I'm going to end on that. But I'm going to tell you that I hope and I pray that you will do better by these people than you did while you campaigned. Because while you campaigned, you made a mockery of yourself. And I know people voted for you, but a lot of people didn't. And I want you to remember that. Thank you.
Well, I can see you're not a fan of mine, so here we go.
Tim, you're not to talk back.
To accept? Do I have a motion on the floor to accept?
I'm sorry, are we still under public comments?
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, you all know me. Whatever you decide to do under new business tonight to replace Tim's seat on the council, I just want you to be aware that I would really like that appointment. Thank you.
Is there any more from the audience? Okay, a motion would be to accept the petitions and communications and place it on file. Right. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Now there's a roll call, please. Oh, okay. Is there any yeas or nays on this petitions and communications? Do we accept it or waiver? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, motion carried. Now, let's see. We don't have a question here, so we're going to old business. We know it's not old business. So now we go to new business. The Dundee PTO gaming and license.
Hello, I'm Jill Fetter. I'm the president of the PTO currently, and I turned in a form for a gaming license because we've never had one before. So as the oncoming president, we're trying to do things in a more formal way. And when I turned it into the office, I wasn't asked for any information. So the gaming license is required by the state for us to hold bingo. We hold it once a year, usually in October or November. The money raised goes back into the elementary PTO, and that money is used for high school scholarship, community outreach, supplies for the teachers, staff appreciation, and that is what our form is for.
So you can't do any sort of bingos without
you have to have a state gaming license. You have a special license, which is a single bingo per year. You can do like a extended one, which is like 6 times, or you could do an annual one. We just do a special bingo license. It's $25, and we're only allowed to hold bingo one time with that license. And they approved it. We already had our bingo. It was in October. We raised $4,000 roughly for the school. But in order for us to do it again next year, that has to be on file.
Do you do this at the school?
We do it at the school. We did it the first year in the elementary school, and we had so many turnout that we were unable to have enough seats for everybody. People like sat on the floor and played bingo. So this year we had it in the middle school, which was much better. We have roughly 400 to 500 people. The children play for free when we have a gaming license because they're not allowed to gamble. And so their prizes are, like when they come in, they get something at the door. And then we did some raffles throughout the school day that had nothing to do with the gambling.
I would like to make a motion to accept the resolution for the charitable gaming license for the Dundee PTO.
Support.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion and on the floor to support the PTO gaming license by Joe Creditor.
It was moved by trustee Hickey, supported by trustee Schroeder, to approve the resolution for the request of the charitable gaming license for the Dundee PTO. Trustee McClendon?
Yes.
Trustee Reeves?
Yes.
Trustee Horky?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder?
Yes.
Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
President Botani?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Now we have the ordinance number.
No, I did.
She changed it to D. We have the ordinance number 06.2018. Prohibition of marijuana establishment ordinance. So everybody's got it in their packet. And go ahead, Craig. Explain the prohibition marijuana ordinance if you would, please.
Well, not last week, 2 weeks ago when I was here, the council, I explained the situation was such that under the new recreational marijuana initiative, unless a community proactively moves to prohibit the establishment of such ordinances, they would otherwise be permitted. One of the things that, in listening to the council when I was here last time, that they talked about was the possibility of adding some kind of sunset language in it, which I have done. This will give the council an opportunity to review this matter at its leisure, and also give an opportunity for all of us to try to figure out what the heck this new initiative is going to mean for the communities in this state. So with that, I have, as I said, returned with the sunset provision, and I have provided that unless the council votes to extend or modify the provisions of the section 5112.21, which is the prohibition, it expires as of January 1st, 2020. Penalties and violations, and that's really it. Any questions?
I personally like the new language, and I thank you for working on that.
Well, like I said, I am here to serve you, so whatever you want. All right, any questions?
Yeah, I went to the marijuana thing over at Petersburg about a month and a half ago, and they supported it over there, but I feel our village shouldn't support it. And eventually, they're probably going to be delivering it by truck or something anyway, and it's close enough over at the village, the city of Petersburg, 2.5 miles. You know, we can't control that, but we don't need it here in Dundee. That's the way I feel.
Well, as I said, this is you know, this puts a stop to it for now, but, you know, it gives you a year to decide what you want to do. You decide that you want to go that route. The other thing is, we don't really know how much money this is going to generate. You know, and a lot of people talk about this generating money, but to be candid with you, you know, everybody's looking at the income side. You know, there's another side of it too. There's a cost side. And you know, whether you, You know, you can't just look at, well, we brought in another $10,000. The problem is does it cost you $12,000 to do that? And I'm not suggesting for a moment that I'm either in favor or opposed to it. All I'm saying is, I think it makes sense for council and this community to take this slowly. It ain't gonna go anywhere. It's, you know, this isn't something that we have to decide tomorrow, so I think it makes sense, and I would, obviously, I put that language in so you have an opportunity to move forward and take a look at it as you go forward. Any other questions? Mr. Reeves, I thought you raised your hand there for a minute.
No, I was just listening to some of the things you're talking about and, you know, agreeing, you know, that it's something that we don't know anything about really. We know that it was voted on by the state at large. Us being the only state in the Midwest, I think it would cause damage to shut the door permanently. So I don't know if we could have some more time and figure out what's going on, the pros and the cons, what this may mean, especially being the only state in the Midwest. I think we need some more information. We need to look at it some more.
And just, you're absolutely correct. And the one thing that I would just, again, I want to just make sure that the residents understand, this really has nothing to do with the medical marijuana language that's already in existence relative to caregivers. Doesn't mean that, you know, if you have a medical marijuana card, that this in any way affects that at all. It has no effect whatsoever. This is completely related to the recreational marijuana language of the initiative. Okay?
No, I got one more question.
Yes, sir.
So, if we vote in favor of this, what does this provide us? And if we vote against it, what does this provide?
Well, what it does right now is it would prevent establishments, recreational marijuana establishments from establishing within the community right now. Okay? Because under the, this was, as I said, what was very strange about this, not that long ago there was the Medical Marijuana Facilities Act that was passed, which was, had language in it that basically said unless you affirmatively permit these facilities within your community, they are prohibited. This initiative, however, seems to be written exactly 180. Unless you affirmatively prohibit them, they're permitted. Failing to take any action at all, in my opinion, would result in tacit approval of the establishment of recreational marijuana facilities within the community. And again, I'm not passing judgment on whether it should be allowed or not allowed. I'm just trying to give you guys an opportunity to review what you want to do with it.
What this does is actually buy us that time to find the information. I guess the main question is the 2020 date a comfortable date? Or do we feel we need to move that back a little bit to allow us even more time? Because there are workshops out there that we can go to, and we can see what other communities are doing. But all this does is make it so somebody can't come in under the radar without us being able to weigh in and do what we think is right for the community. Because if we don't act now, like literally 10 days from the time in which the Board of Canvassers certify the election, if we do nothing, somebody could come in and just set up shop and we would have no say in it. But if we do this, it just buys us that time. So with that sunset clause, it also forces us to look at it. And in the period of time between now and that 2020 date, we can have a public workshop. We can all get some education. You know, we can put surveys out to the community and we can see what people want. And we can see if there's any legal recourses that has been happening in other communities.
Right.
You know, let them falter before our own.